Bang! Neevesknives. I'm Jared, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? I seems logical said Sharif has a live going or something right now. That's all right. I'm just gonna sit here and chit chat. I got some knives here to show you guys. Some knives I got in over the past couple days. I just haven't had time to do first impressions, so I'm gonna take one from each and kind of show you guys. So I don't one of them I don't even think it's been seen yet by anybody. At least it was a surprise to me when I opened it. But what's up, everybody? What up, dog? Um, what's a good travel knife case to look into for Blade Show? Ideally, one that can hold a dozen knives. A dozen knives, that's going to be pretty big. I would look more for something like an 8 case, 6 to 8. That's usually pretty good. And what you do is fill half up. The thing is what you feel like. Let me just be clear. You're going to feel like you need more knives than you do. I did the same thing. First time I went, I brought a whole pile of knives because like I'm going to show everybody because I was staying in a house with a bunch of people. I could show them all my knives. You do that to an extent, but for the most part, you're gonna be there 3 days, so you're gonna be able to carry 3 knives basically. Actually, it depends on if you're gonna be there the day before and the day after, but that's usually flying and stuff, so you're not carrying a knife really. So really you only need a few knives. I usually bring my leather wrap, which holds 8 knives. That gives me the opportunity to fill half up and then bring back some and fill it up. But a lot of times the knives you get at the show are going to be in cases and boxes, so you can just pack them in your luggage anyway. So it just depends on what kind of knives. Some come with boxes, some don't. The hard case, I don't have it sitting here, but you guys have seen it. The hard case with the foam in the inside, the one I have holds 8 knives, I think, maybe 6. That's perfect. But a leather wrap case is perfect too, like the one I have. That's perfect. I don't think you need anything more than that. Just got my Squid Industries crate rake, and I don't even know what that is. I've been checking out this button lock from Beyond EDC. I forget the name of it, but it's pretty unique. I haven't taken it apart and seen how the action actually works. Maybe I should just do that really quick. If you look, there's no pivot. So the way you take it apart is actually right here. This thing spins off. So the button is actually the pivot. It's just kind of weird, right? But it's also a button lock, very smooth. They got a decent detent. This is a prototype, so I'm sure it could be tuned a little bit better, but it's good though. So don't get me wrong, it's good. Solid knife. Like it is a pretty cool knife. And I think that they have something here with this locking mechanism. I'm not sure if it's anything like the CRKT deadlock. Is that what it is with their button pivot? Maybe it's like that. I don't know. But if it's not, they really got something here. They could go far with this. If they could literally do a whole bunch of these. And I've spine whacked the heck out of this thing. And it's been pretty solid. Even no up and down, like it's pretty damn solid. So it's something that could probably take off if they invested a lot of time into putting that into more knives, more designs, more everything. Currently carrying the Sativian ST119, very budget. What are y'all carrying? So I have actually the Precision Knife Works Worn Tack on me. I'm pretty sure the price went back up to $250, and that's only going to be for a little over a week left, maybe 2 weeks or something like that, and then it's going back up to $300. So I'm telling you guys, $225 is what you could have got it for if you would have bought it yesterday, or not yesterday, day before yesterday. But now it's back to $250, but still, man, $250 is still a great price for this. I've been carrying the heck out of this thing. This thing is such a useful knife. The handle works so good with this blade. Like just the way it just rests, this little spot right there goes right in your palm real nicely. And then very ergonomic in every direction. I love knives like that. I like a knife where I can hold it in any direction and I can use it in any direction. Not that I don't like knives, or not that I don't like a knife that I can't turn around, I can cut ropes with very comfortably, but when I can't, it's definitely a negative to me. I don't say it because it's not an actual negative, but if I go to flip a knife in reverse, right, to cut a rope or something, and the flipper tab's all in my way and I can't do it, that definitely adds a little negative to me. That's what's so badass about the kick stop, because the kick stop, shout out to the new Chavez. You guys can get it from the Urban EDC link down in the description. It's so badass because you have the flipper tab, but then it's gone, it disappears. So now you don't even have it right there. You can turn it around, you can do basically hold it in any comfortable grip you want. You know, it was kind of stupid they didn't put thumb studs on this too, because if they would have done multiple deployments on this, oh my goodness, why didn't they? I heard Tri-State EDC said that, and I was like, yeah, he's right. Why didn't they do that? But it doesn't stop it from being badassery. Just, you know, could be a little bit better if they would have put some studs on it. Sorry guys, how unprofessional. Turn your damn ringer off, Jared. You can probably hear Karen. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And these are our favorites. Cue the music.
I said something. Anyways, you guys can probably hear Karen in the background. She's playing her game. She got this new game and she's going crazy with it. So let's check out one of these new knives. One, I'm sure you guys have already seen this. The XL original frag, titanium frag with the titanium frag clip. This clip actually works so good. It's a titanium milled deep carry pocket clip. So it's like the best of both worlds. It's not only deep carry, but it's also a milled. And then it also has frag pattern. So it is the button lock original. And if you guys want to see the size, here is the original. And you guys can see the size difference there. So it is quite a bit bigger. So that's the XL. And I do have a bunch of other Kaisers too. So I have a whole bunch in. This is just one of the many. Pretty cool. I like the original, and I actually probably like this one a little bit more because what they did was, this one's a great size for a mini knife, for a small knife, but this one is a great size for like not a large knife, because it's definitely not large. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about it, because they didn't go XL extreme, they went just bigger, right? And this is small, but it's not too small. This is medium. So this is like a great medium-sized knife. It's not quite large, not small. It's definitely a medium-sized knife, and it works out. So you can get a full 4-finger grip if you choke back, but you can spread out over that spot right there because there's no flipper. Kaiser does a good job with their action on their button locks. I did see Brian. Uh-oh, son of a bitch. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, I did see Brian he bought a cubit, and his failed on him when he spine whacked it. So I spine whacked the shit out of mine to see if mine would do that, and it didn't. Mine's good, but this thing has some of the most insane geometry. This thing's badass. I got to give this thing credit for $60-something with the aluminum 14C and done right, because 14C is made for this type of geometry. It literally is. Remember, it originally comes from AEBL, which was originally made for razor blades. So extremely thin geometry is what it's made for. That's why it's such a tough steel. Quick and fast fix. All good, Jared. Quick and fast fix. Yeah, I don't know why. Just my camera went out. So let me see, which one is it? Okay, so here's a new Migaron, but I didn't even know this thing was coming or anything about it. I'll show you guys really quick. We have one more, but I'm not going to show you guys the other one because you guys won't watch my video then. So this is the new one. I do not know the name yet. The other one's an S90V. This one's an M390. Pretty cool. Look at this flipper tab. Look at how mini that flipper tab is. So small, but it works good. Almost I'm going to call it a straight back. Straight back, big belly. You got the trigger pull right there on the flipper tab. And this is a comfortable trigger pull. It's like the flipper tab is like designed for the trigger pull. But the reverse flick, really good reverse flick. Even for lefties, even though it's not, no, it's not reversible, you can kind of go up right here on that spot right there and reverse flick it. But yeah, the flipper tab, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It does work good, but I'm on the fence with if I like it or not. Because, so I've always said this. I've always said I would rather a big flipper tab that works amazingly well than a small flipper tab that doesn't work that good. And it works good, but it's just right there on the line where it's so small. You gotta hook it. It works good, but it's just a really tiny. Like this is a perfect flipper tab to me on this concept. Perfect jimping. Your finger goes right there, nice and comfortable. Light switch, super duper snappy. Like it's a very comfortable flipper tab right there. But yeah, no, this new Megaron's pretty cool though. I do like it. I love the reverse flick. So I don't even care about the flipper tab because the reverse flick is so good. I wish the tip was a little bit lower. As far as the blade shape goes. No pocket peckers. There's no pocket pecker here for damn sure. Let's see here. What else did I want to show you? Oh yeah, this one. Here's another one. So, hey, Stasa23 is in the house. Shout out to Stasa23. Go and subscribe to his channel. Thanks for coming, bud. Jared, admit it. You want your very own custom slide out knife shells. Custom slide out knife shells. I would absolutely love that. I absolutely would love that. I've got to think of something. I'll tell you that much. Like right now, I'm sure. I think Kara showed you guys the video last live of how we have the organization set up now. Anyways, here's the new titanium pyrite. I have 3 new CJRBs. This is one of them, the titanium and S90V. Yes, S90V blade steel. It's got the carbon fiber inlay, contoured titanium mill pocket clip, and the button lock. Good action. Very snappy. Small compact knife, but works good. So yeah, this is another one. I like the pyrite. And you know what? I'll be honest though. If you don't have the money for the titanium one, the steel one's just as good. Because I mean, it's going to be a little heavier, but you know, you're not really, it feels almost the same. I mean, aside from the fact that this is a little contoured and the steel one's flat, aside from that, man, it's basically, you know, you're not getting much difference. Like you would almost think the other one was titanium. I need an early bird pass for Blade Show if anyone has an extra one buy from me. So Stasa, what you should do what I did, talk to one of the knife companies and ask them if they can get you a pass. So they'll get you the card around the neck, and then they can get you in early as you want. As they'll be there like an hour or two early. That's what we did. So that's what we did in Texas too. So just get a hold of a company that you're pretty decent with and just ask them and say, hey, can you guys get me a badge? And they'll most likely say, yeah. They've offered them to me. So S90V only 59 HRC. Yeah, that sucks. I think S90V does best around 62, 61, 62. I don't know. He's saying 59 HRC. I don't know. I can't confirm that. We can look it up really quick, but I have no idea. Get your PM2 and 15V before it's too late. Oh, they're available? PM2s and 15V? Fuck yeah. Yeah, get on that. That's awesome. I got the Mannix right now, and I already got the PM2s and my 2 favorite steels. So I love the 15V, but I got it in the Mannix, so I'm not really, you know, too worried about getting it in the PM2. Not that I wouldn't, you know, but I gotta save money right now, so large pyrite talk already. That would be cool. I could definitely see that being really cool because this is probably the most recommended size knife for most people, just because it's like a 3.25-inch blade, not too big, not too small. It's just perfect for most people. But a lot of people like a big knife. What's your top ergonomic knives? Ooh, probably Benchmade Tillian. Hogue, Ritter, RSKMK1, the Spyderco Gale Bradley. That's another one. I love those type of ergos, like the Gale Bradley ergos. You could even go as far as saying the Elementum button lock, the large button lock. I love those type of ergos, very neutral. You hold them in any grip. Obviously, the cold steel 80-10, the 80-15, the 80-20. These are all just absolute monsters in the hand. So they're extremely, extremely comfortable. So, it just depends on what we're talking about, because, you could say an 80-10 is the most comfortable knife in the hand, but it's also obnoxious for a lot of things. But that's why I think the Gale Bradley likes a great, versatile knife in that regard. Spyderco's heat treat on Kruger is amazing. I have mine in the other room, although I'd pull it out right now. But very, very well done. Spyderco pretty much does a good job across the board with their heat treats. As long as you've gotten it in the past 2 to 3 years, they've just they took heat treating to another level as far as standards go. And a bunch of people have talked to, was it Sal? His name's Sal, I think. A bunch of people have asked Sal, like, why are you holding, why are you doing these high HRCs and all these crazy steels? And he basically said that he's, that he wanted to, because the steel is the most important part of the knife. So they wanted to hold themselves to a high standard as far as the steel went. And it shows. It really, truly shows, because when I sharpen a knife, all different kinds of knives, when it's a Spyderco, I know it's going to go well. Like, I don't have there's no thought process on whether or not it's going to go bad. It is going to go great. And I know the edge is going to come out so crispy. So I can't say that for a lot of other companies, right? Like even Stasa. Stasa the other day ran into, what knife was it? It was an MKM knife, Italian. So he ran into some of their M3, I think it was their M390, which was super soft, right? And that's common with Italian companies. That's the way I feel like every time I sharpen an Italian M390 knife, if it's made in Italy, right? Because there's Italian companies and sometimes they have other companies making their knives like Riet and stuff. In that case, it's good. But if they're making it in Italy, I have a 50-50 shot. What the fuck was that? Did you guys hear that? Something's vibrating up here. I don't think I have anything up here. Anyways, but yeah, Spydercos are the shit when it comes to their heat treat. They're doing a really good job. All my Spydercos are bought from well-known websites within the past year. They're the first pricier knives I have bought, and I am a loyal customer now, I guess. That's awesome, Will. And yeah, you know what? To be honest, like when you say say well-known websites, yeah, like Blade HQ, GP Knives, even Amazon is a good place, because these companies have Amazon stores. You can see where it comes from. Like, people get worried sometimes, and maybe not no more, but like 2 years ago, people would get worried about buying stuff on Amazon. And it's like, you can see where it's coming from. Like if I buy a Medford, I can see if it's coming from Medford. If I buy a Benchmade, I can see it's coming directly from Benchmade. So, just pay attention to that, but for the most part, you're getting it from a reliable company. Now, don't get me wrong. The bad companies are going to be like AliExpress and, companies alike. So those are the ones you're going to want to stay away from, ones that you don't hear all the time. Or maybe I can't say that because Ali is said a lot. The ones that hold themselves to high standards, especially if they're in the USA, if they're a knife dealer in the USA, you got good chances. Yeah, I'm sharpening a knife in the AEBL 62 HRC custom heat treat, and damn, it's a world different from sharpening most production knives except for Spyderco. That's awesome. Dude, that actually excites me, because I'm gonna be hopefully checking out some 14C at 6263 HRC. That sounds amazing. So, and yeah, AEBL, I've never tried it at that HRC. The highest I think I've ever tried AEBL was 59. So I would love, like, that. That's amazing, dude. Good for you. And yeah, I imagine it's completely different. I imagine it's completely different. And I've always wondered why And maybe it's because they're trying to hold the toughness as much as possible, since AEBL, 14C28N, 12C27 are very tough steels, you know. And I said all three of those because they're like this, they all come from each other. But I always wonder why they didn't make it a higher HRC, considering the toughness was so high. It's like, so what? You're going to sacrifice some toughness by raising the HRC, but it's such a tough steel already. I mean, what's it going to get? You know, it's going to get as weak as S35 or something. Like, I don't know. Spydercos are just plain ugly. Sorry, but that's the thing, is a lot of people think that. A lot of people that absolutely love Spydercos think they're ugly. It's not about them being beautiful. It's about how useful and how good the steel is. So, and that's where the experience has to come in. Like with me, I thought Spydercos were the ugliest things ever. I could not even fathom owning one at one time. I would just look at it like, why would I want a hole in my blade? Like I want my blade to be tough. Like, I'm not trying, it's like, that sounds like it's counterproductive. But then I heard the stories of like how Spyderco was like built around use in the hand, like supposedly, like that. It's supposed to be not beautiful. It's supposed to be very useful. So when you get it in the hand, it's supposed to be a functional tool. And that's what they went for. And, with the heat treat and everything too, it winds up being like the best steels you're going to probably ever experience as far as production steels go. So if you want to try what good heat treated steel feels like, you try Spyderco. But other than that, though, the look, though, to me, when the use is so good, the knives that might be ugly 2 years ago start becoming attractive when they're that useful. Because you start acknowledging, like, this is the useful blade shapes. This is the blade shapes that work best for me. This is the ergos that work best for me. And then you start looking for those little tiny qualities in a knife, and then when you see these gems or see these knives that have those little details, you're like, man, that's a gem right there. Even though 2 years ago, you might have been like, that's an ugly fucking knife. Or somebody else might say it's ugly. I have a Kershaw Leak, which I love too much. But how can I sharpen it? It has 14C28N and it's already sharp. Should I use stones, a rolling sharpener? What do you know? Please help. Use stones for sure. You don't have to use diamonds with 14C. 14C28N does just fine with aluminum oxide or anything. If you want it to sharpen up fast, I would recommend diamonds. I'm not sure what other knives you have. If you only have the Kershaw Leak, then if you only have that knife, you can use just about any stones as long as you start with a coarse. But if you're not good at sharpening, you're probably going to want some sort of fixed angled system, even if it's an affordable one, or get one of Work Sharp. So I don't think I have them linked right now, but I can grab the link. Somebody in the chat, can you guys, damn it. I don't know why my camera keeps dying. Sorry, guys. What the heck is going on? I bet you guys can probably hear me. Sorry, guys. I gotta figure out what the heck's going on. What was I talking about? I don't remember now. Work Sharp. Grab can one of the moderators grab my Work Sharp link? My Work Sharp link. Also, you could just go into my store. I'm sure you can get to it through there, at least their Amazon store. But grab the Work Sharp field sharpener or the Work Sharp bench sharpener. One of the two. The bench sharpener would be the better one, and you'll be able to sharpen that knife on something like that. Now, it's going to cost damn near as much as the knife, but that's how it works, man. But once you buy a sharpener, now you can sharpen all kinds of knives. A lot of people look at that bad, like, oh, I could buy the whole knife for that much. It's like, yeah, but you can't use the knife to sharpen all your other knives, right? It's like, it's a tool that's for a different purpose, right? It's like, of course you could buy a knife for that much, or sometimes you could buy 10 knives for like as much as a TS Prof or something like that. But those systems are they're so not only easy to use, but they're so convenient to use, and the end results, your edges, just so good that it make, like, if that's what you like, right? If you want good quality, amazing, stupid, ridiculous sharp edges, then it's going to be worth it to you, especially if you already invested in some expensive knives. Jared, I've been thinking on creating a knife brand. I've been thinking about the name Dull Knives. Opinions? Are you joking? Dull Knives? I don't know about going dull knives, maybe sharp knives, keen knives. I don't know about dull knives. I mean, I guess if it's just like a joke, yeah, cool. Yeah, I can't tell if you're joking. Never liked Spyderco until I used them. That's the same way I was. The Spyderco reverse harpoon does it for me. Not the ideal for personal protection. Yeah, they have some really good self-defense knives though. I hate how Spyderco's look, but now one of my top 3 knives is the Python. Huh, I can't stand how much I love it, dude. I don't even want to talk to you no more because that's like my grail. I want to, man. I've never even tried one, to be honest. I've never tried one, but maybe at the Blade Show there'll be one somewhere. I do like the Caribbean, but the holes, guys. What is this one? I introduce myself to girls. Hey, baby, I'm the Spyderco guy. I'm the Spyderco of guys. Ugly, but very effective once you have me in hand. There you go. That's my Amazon link, but no, if you go to my work sharp video I posted like a week ago, the work sharp that sharpening system, it's at the top of the link in that video. And thank you, Logical. I have a word. Oh, guess what, guys? Before I answer this, remember I was telling you guys that sharpening system there was going to be some aftermarket attachments. Guess what? There already is. Guess who already has them? You got it. I have a work sharp field sharpener, and it was the first one I bought, and it works for me to get a working edge. Not quite hair popping sharp, except for my Para 3 crew wear. It's scary. It's scary, easy sharpening. Yeah, you know, with any system, right? If you can learn how to sharpen, then it doesn't matter what the system is that you use. Like I can get hair whittling edges off of that system. Of course, not as fast as their bench stone. So that's why I recommend the bench stone. Like the field sharpener is going to be more for like what you said, tuning your edge, maintaining your edge, you know, getting a good working edge really quick. You can also use the ceramic rod for deburring processes when you're done sharpening on a different stone. But anyways, the bench stone though is basically the same thing but bigger. So you can sharpen so much faster, like 10 times as fast, not 10 times, maybe like 3 times as fast. So that's why I would recommend that. And you have the angle guide, you have all that stuff there. So you don't have to, you don't have to know how to land on a perfect angle every time because it's already there for you. I wouldn't buy Maximet again. You should buy mine that I'm trying to offload though. I like Maximet. It looks like everyone was like me, didn't like them, bought one, then they were fans. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. That's exactly how it is. I mean, I was literally that guy. And you know what? You know what really pissed me off? Was that everybody was raving about them because I thought they were so god awful ugly. Like I couldn't get one. Like just they were that ugly. And every other video had like they'd have a top 10 and 7 of them would be Spydercos. And every single knife, and I'd be watching knife content. And I'd be like, oh, thank God it's not a Spyderco when I'd get to certain videos because like certain videos would be like some weird knife. And it's like, thank God. Thank God, finally, not a Spyderco because everybody was raving about Spyderco. Then it started like getting in my head because I bought a couple knives that people raved about. I was like, damn, this is really good, right? But I don't know why I had this thing for the longest time that if everybody had it, I didn't want it. Like if I seen it on 7 channels, I didn't want it. If I seen it on 1, that's different. But if every other person's raving about it, like I don't know, I just felt like it's like, oh, you know, everybody's, you know, it's like if there's nothing special about it, everybody has, but it's like that's the reason why it's so special is because everybody loves it. That means it's really good. Well, then I wound up buying a couple of the knives that everybody was raving about and found out how damn good they were. It's like the reason why these are the raving because they are the best. They are the best ones out of the bunch, right? So it's like I'm sitting here wasting my money on these that nobody's raving about and they're bad. And that's why nobody's raving about them. Then I started investing in the ones people were raving about. And then I started getting back in my head like Spyderco, like everybody raves about this damn company. Maybe I should just give it a try. And as soon as I did, yeah, the rest is history. You used to rag on me when you would see all my Spyderco content when you first started. Yeah, it drove me nuts. I didn't understand. I understood to an extent, but I didn't like it because I wasn't gonna buy them. So, and I guess to me, it was like, and I know this is not true now. I want to be clear. I know this is not true, but I almost felt like everybody's just raving about it because the last guy did. Right? Like, oh, this guy raved about it. Now this guy's going to rave about it. Now this guy's going to rave about it. And they're all just in an echo chamber. But that was not the case. The case was that it's actually good. And that's why everybody fucking likes it. And I learned my lesson because the knives that I would see that I would be attracted to, but people would not be raving about, I'd buy, and then they wouldn't be that good. And it's like, well, no wonder why nobody was raving about this. Just got my first knife, a Kaiser Backlighter XL. What do you think about it? I like it. I like it a lot. I got one near me somewhere. But yeah, the XL's dope. I like all the Backlighters. I think the Backlighter series is badass. So good for you. Good for you. Hey, listen, if you have problems with your button lock on that, just adjust the pivot and the body screws. Sometimes one screw will start coming loose and your scales will go like this a little bit, and then your button gets either really stiff or really soft. So it's an easy fix, though. You just got to adjust the hardware. Where is my damn bell? Wasn't prepared. Cue ball, thank you for the 5 bones. Jared, other than the TRM Titanium Shadow, what other booths are you really looking forward to visiting this year? Well, I don't even know if I'm like really looking for the Titanium Shadow. As bad as I'd like to get it, I just don't think it'd be a good investment for the channel for me, as bad as I do want it. But I want to get a Benchmade bailout. I've always wanted one, and I've never gotten to buy one. I've tried them, but I've never owned one. I want one of the new bailouts, the aluminum handle ones. I'm thinking about buying knives like that, like knives that are USA made, that would be good for the channel and that I've always wanted and just never, like maybe some Hogues, maybe some Spydercos I don't have, maybe some Benchmades I don't have, maybe some other companies too. So I'm mostly focused on that stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, if there's something like that really catches my eye that's badass, that I can't live without, I'm gonna probably get it. But I'm going to try to make my purchases. Like Kara, she's already purchased a custom. Like literally, she's already fucking paid for it. When we get there, the dude's gonna give it to her. They talked at Blade Show Texas, and then so she's like worked everything out. You guys already seen the picture. So, but with me though, I gotta think about the channel with my purchases. That's the thing, like but don't get me wrong, like there's certain knives I'll get just for myself that I can't link, that aren't no good for the channel. Like I don't ever show them. Like my Varga, I showed it today on Instagram, but I don't show that Varga that much because nobody can get it. So it doesn't really make sense, right? And I want to be able to show you guys things that you guys can actually get, because I know what it's like watching videos that people are posting that you will never get to touch. And I used to drive me nuts, even though I drool over it. And then there were times where it was like, I would be passionate about it, even though I knew I wasn't going to be able to touch it or get my hands on it. I still liked it just because of the thought process, the build quality, and, the details. But it started getting to a point where it was like, why I'm never going to be able to get this. Like, this is so rare or so hard to get or so expensive. So I got to try to focus on things that I can, appreciate on the channel and and then, also recommend. Do you own a Kershaw Leak? Yes, I do. If so, can you give a shout out to Kershaw? I feel like it's underrated. So Kershaw will always have a spot in my heart. I want to say it right now. Kershaw will always have a spot in my heart. I love the Kershaw Leaks. I love all the USA made Kershaws. But I am upset at Kershaw just a little bit, because we don't have any manual knives, and they're supposed to be. So Kershaw is supposed to be like basically like the budget USA made knife company, like, because they've always have been. They've always been the company to where you can get a damn good USA made knife for around $100, maybe a little less, maybe a couple dollars more, and it'd be a good knife in the USA. Now they're all automatics or assisted. I don't know of any manual Kershaw knives that are manual and USA made. So I like their knives. I love their launch series. Their launch series are great, but those are all automatics. And I love them. I love them a lot. But you know, I really want to see some manual knives out of them. If they did some manual knives, they'd be kicking ass if they were good quality. 30 years ago, Spyderco was the shit. Now, with everything that's out there, Spyderco is solid meh for me. So I disagree. I think Spyderco was the shit, but I think even then they weren't doing their heat treat protocols that they're doing now. Now that's where they shine. Like, I can't think of one other production company. Yeah, I can't think of another production company that does heat treating better than Spyderco, personally. Like, they do the best HRCs, the best everything. They do it the most consistent. So, and when you test so many knives, man, you start noticing that, man. That becomes a big factor. Like, if you only have 2 or 3 knives, right? When you only have 2 or 3 knives, you don't really understand, you know, like, and I'm not like talking shit. I'm just saying, like, when you don't have like a lot of knives to really compare to, like, I have probably 60 knives in M390. No, I probably have like 200 knives in M390. I don't even know. Let's just say 60. I have like 60 knives in M390. So I felt dog shit M390 and I felt really good M390 and everything in between. So when you got a company that you can consistently get the good steel, man, it's something to be proud of, especially from a knife sharpening point of view. Like, if I didn't sharpen my own knives and I didn't know how to sharpen so well, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I can sharpen very well. I can put killer edges on my knives. So since I can, of course I want the best canvas, right? Like, you know, because that's what it is. It's like, I could sharpen up some shitty steel and make it sharp, but it's never going to come out the way something that has a really good heat treat and then hold it too. Because I'll tell you what, man, I've sharpened some stuff that came out with a good edge and cut 2 things and it's damn near dull or microchipping or something. What's the best Spyderco to shave your head with? Something with a belly. Something with a belly. I don't know. I would say, you know, you'd think of Warncliffe because it's straight, like a straight razor, but I don't know if that's true. I think you'd be better off with a you know what I seen? Me and Kara watching a video. It's in another country. This guy had a big old, it was like a big butter knife, right? Like this big, literally like a butter knife. And he must have put a killer edge on this thing. He was shaving a guy's head. The guy's hair was near as long as mine, and he was just, and I mean, like, it was coming off so, it was so satisfying to watch this guy shave this dude's head. It was like, damn, that knife is sharp. I couldn't believe how good it was cutting. If you don't get a bailout and still want to review one, holler at me and I'll say, see, I've reviewed one before in the past. I want to own one. That's what I want. I want to own one, because owning one gives me the ability to, one, enjoy it, you know, right? And then I need more Benchmades in my collection. I wish I had more. I just, you know, I probably, what do I have, like 4 or 5 Benchmades? I don't have that many Benchmades. Yes, I know the butterfly tax is a son of a bitch. And I in many cases I can't recommend it to people because I can always think of something else that's like half the price that's really good. But as far as the people that like USA made knives go, that's a good one to recommend to people. I like that knife a lot and I wish I had one. So I'm gonna try to get one. How well does butter work? You know, I'm pulling your chain about the shadow. I know you're fucking with me. I know. Even though I would sell my titanium shadow, now you're fucking with me. It's not a knife I recommend because the regular one is such a better weight and feel in hand of the titanium one just looks cool. Yeah, and you know what? I've had that experience with other knives where I wanted getting titanium scales And then the knife was so heavy afterwards, I wound up like thinking like, man, I kind of like that better with the G10. But I'm a titanium whore. So like say a knife like this thing is ridiculously heavy, but I love it. I absolutely love it. It feels like a fucking tank. And I like that. I like that it feels like a vault. Look at that edge. Look at that edge on that beast. Come on. Come on. Got a beautiful edge if it'll come out. Anyways, that's fucking sharp. Yeah, I love this knife, even though it is a tank. But yeah, I know what you mean, man. Sometimes knives, like you think you want the titanium version, then it's like, the reasons why I love this knife was because of these very reasons, and now I don't have those reasons. That's what I love about the Deca with the aluminum scales, because it only goes up like a half a, like I think it's like a half an ounce. I think it goes up half an ounce with these scales. That's it. So it's still under 3 ounces with these scales. At least that's what I think it is. When I weighed mine, it was, I think, 2.6, and the original one with the scales is 2.1. So that's really good. And for such strong scales, which has better action, the ZT0055 or the Chances Kickstop? Kickstop. I'm going to guess the Kickstop. I don't know what the other knife is, but I'm going to guess the Kickstop. Just canceled my Netflix subscription. Is YouTube Prime worth getting? So, it's stupid for me to recommend Prime to anybody because I'm a YouTuber. So it's in my best interest to tell you not to get Prime because, I get less money if you have Prime than if you watch my content without Prime. But I absolutely recommend Prime. I use Prime. I forget how much it is a month, like $12 a month or something, but no commercials, no ads. Forget about it. Fuck that. I could never go back to not having Prime. And I'm not trying to tell all of you to get Prime right now, but I understand some people just don't care because they don't care about waiting 5 extra seconds, I'm an impatient son of a bitch. Like I'm like the most impatient person ever. Unless if I'm hunting, fishing, or stalking somebody. I am so impatient. I am very, very impatient. All right. I see I'm backed up. I'm gonna scroll forward. Hey, we have a new member. Urson. Oh, we gotta talk about the member. Shit. Where's my phone? Shout out to Urson. Thank you for becoming a member. Give you a little bell tap. So Sunday we have the banging live, but we're not going to because it's Mother's Day. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it on Monday. So Monday we're gonna do 7:30, just like we do these lives on Wednesdays and Saturdays. We're just gonna do it on Monday, 7:30 p.m. That way everybody can be off of work. This way, people that aren't able to show up in the afternoon shows will be able to show up then. Now, another thing. So no banging live Sunday. We're doing it on Monday. Next thing. Rob Thompson, thank you for the 2 bones. Why are Benchmade Omega Springs weak as poo? We will talk about that 1 second. Then never mind, you can't. I didn't say, well, if you're giving it to me, that's different. What was I talking about now? Shit, bailouts just got me. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about, so YouTube now has an ability for you to do a podcast. So they've just started it, or at least I just found it. So now I literally have a spot in my thing that I can actually set up a podcast. So I'm going to test it out. I'm going to try it out. I'm thinking about maybe doing a podcast, like a scheduled podcast. I know this you can consider as a podcast kind of, but I'm talking about something very organized, like something completely different, like all talking points. I'm not going to sit here and shoot the shit like this. It's going to be, like subjects and things like that, something for people to listen to, like at work and stuff. I'm not sure how it'll go. By the way, I did a podcast the other day. Did you guys see the post? I'm going to grab this link. Go and please go and listen to this. If you guys want like a little bit about my history, and a little bit of a dive into my past, go and listen to this. It's on the Purpose Podcast. I'm going to grab the link for you guys right now. It was a good time. So he recently started a podcast and it's a great episode. I actually re-listened to it and I know that's pretty narcissistic to listen to your own shit, but I did just to see how it turned out. And I'll tell you what, man, it turned out really good. Really good. Like I was listening to it, and I know it's me. So like you could be like, well, yeah, of course you can listen to yourself. But I think if I wasn't me and I was listening to it, I think I would have enjoyed it no matter what. And I try to encourage men in the video as much as possible. So everything comes from the heart that I say in that, you know, and I think it'd be a great listen. So I just put it in the chat if you guys want to check it out. I would say don't even listen to it tonight. I would say listen to it tomorrow while you're at work in your headphones. If you can do that. If you can't, then you know, play it whenever. But you can't see anything, so it's not like this. You can only listen to it. So, but it is a great listen. And this guy's in the knife community. He's not a knife channel. His is an actual podcast. It's about men. It's a men's podcast, basically to help men get better. And which I respect, and that's why I went on there immediately, because you know I'm all for that. You guys know I'm a huge advocate for men. So, I was very happy to go on there. But he's a guy who watches the knife community, so you know he's into knives and stuff. Just doesn't have a knife channel. I got an extra kick stop sitting in my office desk drawer if you're interested. Slim Midi, a Slim Midi kick stop? No, what are you talking about? Somebody's lying. Jared, did you see Quiet Carry introduced? Yeah, I was gonna show you guys that. Thanks for messing that up for me. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I actually had it pulled up for a second, but now I can't find it. Let's take a look at it really quick. All right, so here it is. Let's show it really quick. Come on. All right, there it is. So we have the large drift, and it looks like they say contoured scales. They look flat to me, but maybe it's just an optical illusion because of the lines. So titanium and G10 looks very cool. I like them. I wonder how the action is. Are they on bearings? Because if they were on bearings, that would be tits. But if they're on washers, I don't know. Because they have like the 9 is on bearings, and this knife is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite knives of the year. I love this knife. I'm thinking about getting one of these versions too, because the other version I have is the flat titanium, not flat, but it doesn't have the micro milling in it. I have this one. Oh, no, not that one. Not that one. Never mind. This one. No, not that one. This one. I have this one. Anyways, yeah, I like Quiet Carry. Stasa says, I love the tie scales way more on my 80/20, but there is something off with the shadow. Really? Well, the G10 one is so dope already. And you know, the G10 one is it's pretty robust in itself, you know. I don't know if that's a knife that really needs titanium. I sharpened my Shaman in S30V the other day on my KME. I couldn't get the burr to remove. I flipped it multiple times and couldn't knock the burr off. I tried stropping freehand and still no go. Okay, so what it sounds like, in which I don't know how old your Shaman is, but I'm just gonna guess that it's newer, right? And it does have a good heat treat, and it's not a bad heat treat. But you know, if it is something to do with the heat treat, you know, send it in. Spyderco will replace it. Especially if you know if it's got a bad heat treat. I mean, I'm sure they will. I can't promise you anything, but what I would say it's most likely a human error, and I say that you know with all due respect. I'm not trying to like be disrespectful or anything, but 99% of the time when people have problems like that, it's usually a human error. So you possibly are applying entirely way too much pressure. That's one thing. When you fatigue a burr, no pressure, and I mean less pressure than the weight of the stone. People think like you know, when I say no pressure, it means a little bit of pressure. No pressure at all. You're literally just trying to get the stone to hit the burr because you're just trying to flip it. Now you might do that a couple times, right? But you're not trying to dig in, because what'll happen is if you have a really good apex and you have a really clean apex, which you can achieve on a KME, then it's very easy to create another burr on the other side with one swipe, because your grit is already the steel you're removing is already to the apex. So when you hit it, you're gonna create more of a burr on the other side. And then you flip it, you're gonna do it on this side. That's why what you're trying to do is you're not trying to just rip the burr off. What you're trying to do is fatigue it. So very gentle passes. Do it 1, 2, 3 strokes on each side, flip it over, 1, 2, 3 strokes, flip it, 2 strokes, flip it, 2 strokes, flip it, 1 stroke, then flip it, 1 stroke, and keep doing that process. 1 stroke, 1 stroke, 1 stroke, like 10 times, 5, 10 times. Then go to the strop, because at that point your burr should be fatigued so much that it's ready to just pop right off, and the burr should clean anything else up. That's what I would recommend to do. Now, if that doesn't work, the one other thing I would say is get off your diamond plates. What grit are you stopping at? That's a huge thing too, because if you're stopping at a super low grit, that might be your problem. And also, are your diamond plates good? Are they new? Or are they not wore out? Like, that could be another thing. But what I was going to say though is that try a ceramic. Ceramics knock burrs off really well. It's one of my favorite things to use to remove a burr. So you try to use a ceramic. That'll knock a burr off real good. Goat scales turn that Deca into Deca. Yes, sir. And I got a discount code for anybody wanting some original goat scales, whether it's for the Spydercos, Hogues, or what else do they have? They even have the RSKMK1. They have some cold steel 8015 scales. They got a bunch of different scales, and I got a discount code down in the description. Jared said he's a titanium whore. Let's explore this more. That's a fact. It is a fact. I won't ever go back to regular YouTube. Yeah. Once you go the prime route, there's no turning back. I can't, man. Like, I've been on other people's phones, that don't have it, and I'm like, what the fuck? I hate it, but it's not for everybody. Like I said, it's not for everybody. I'm obviously trying to convince you not to go to Prime. You're gonna hate it. Anyone else getting YouTube Shorts recommendations of Melissa Backwood's channel? Not sure if I should be so attracted to a woman who uses knives better than me. I'm not sure if I should be so attracted to women. Yeah, and she's a good one too. I'll say this. Anytime I see a girl in the knife community, I applaud it, right? Of course I do. But I also don't put too much thought into them being badasses. But she has proven herself beyond proof. Like, she is a badass. Even like in her Naked and Afraid shows, she dominated, absolutely dominated. And you know what? Those men should be absolutely embarrassed that she dominated them. If it wasn't for her, they probably wouldn't have made it. If they even did make it, when they made it. But anyways, point is she's a badass for sure. And she's really cool. She'll be at Blade Show. I don't mind the ADs, especially because my favorite YouTuber actually get paid then. See, now that's what I'm talking about, officer. That's a good way to look at it. And yeah, so with the Prime, just so you guys know, what happens is we have a Prime account of how much we get paid from Prime, and it's not shit. Like out of an entire month, like mine is like $12 or something. Maybe let's say $40. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not much. Custom EDC knives with the 2 bones. Hey everyone, how's it going? What is up, brother? We were talking about your knife just a little while ago. Edgy American with the 2 bones. Can't wait to meet y'all at Blade Show. It's coming up real quick. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I really hope the opening of the blade hole is net than the first drift with the. Oh, you know what? Yeah. I never did I get to try it. I don't think I ever tried the original one, which I remember people were bitching about. Like, it wasn't a good, like, reverse flick knife. Quiet Carry IQ, next purchase 100. I'm telling you guys, try the 9. If you haven't tried the 9, try the 9. It is such a good knife. I could go on and on. Titanium Whore is a robotic villain in anime. I don't watch anime, but sounds like somebody I might like. Hello, are the Brad and Taylor pull-through sharpenings okay to use? No. I just did a video yesterday on pull-through sharpeners. I don't know exactly what a Brad and Taylor is, but I would most likely recommend against it unless, you know, like diamonds, aluminum oxides, things like that are what you want to use to sharpen a knife. So stones, you want to use stones, plates or stones, because plates, you know, diamonds, you know, come in plates. So plates or stones, that's what you want. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do it freehand, right? Fixed angled systems come with stones. So as long as you're using a stone, that's the way to go. I would say in some cases, a belt sharpener is okay. But in most cases, a stone's going to be better. And the edge will last longer off of a stone than off of a belt. Like, I don't know what the exact percentages. It probably just depends on the steel and everything. But like, you get like 50% better edge retention off the stone than you do off of a belt. So, Melissa Backwoods is a great name. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's for advanced sharpeners, really unique and full inlay work both sides. Huh. Jared, can I come to your house? No. Why would a man be about that a woman does something better than them? Um, I don't know what you mean. Why would they be mad about a woman doing something better than them? Well, I would say because I don't know what you meant by that and about that, but I would say most men want to be superior in many regards, you know, than a woman because we're built for it. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of women can't hold up and can't, you know, hold their own. They obviously can. And a lot of them will kick ass. But for the most part, most men, you know, they'd like to know that they're tougher than a girl because they're a man, right? It's just, you know, biology. Why hasn't anyone reviewed the new Medford OTF? I haven't had one, so I haven't seen it. I mean, I've seen them online, but I haven't like seen one in person. Hopefully I'll get one in hand at the show because I think he'll have some there. Anybody else waiting for the B3 Factor release? Oh shit, I don't have the B3s out there, but I do got the original one right here. This thing's a beast. So good. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are. There's only going to be 200 of them on the release date for the B2. Sorry. The B3s are pre-order. So yes, you can get the B3. But as far as buying one outright, there's only going to be 200 for the B2s. I am waiting for the micro Jimbo from Spider Go, a 2.5-inch Yojimbo that will be legal to carry almost everywhere. S30V will be the base model, but hopefully sprint runs will show up later. Really? I don't even know about this. How do you know about this and I don't? Any alternatives to Creed Avantis? Kind of don't feel like spending that much. Yes. Give me 1 second. This is the best clone to Creed Avantis. And it's very affordable. So just write that down. It's very, very affordable. Really good. We have fragrance of the day coming up here in a minute, and it smells just like it. Like I've had Creed Avantis in a sample. They smell identical. Now another one is Mancera Cedra. Now this is slightly different, but it's better quality than this one. So it's not exact. This is more exact like Creed Avantis, but this is like the same type of fragrance. It's like almost exact, but this would be considered better. I think more people, it's more expensive. It's everything. Like the oils are better. It's going to last longer. Like there's just a lot of better qualities of it. And that's Mancera. And it smells almost just like most people would think it smells identical to Creed Avantis, but somebody who has a nose for it will be able to tell the difference. This though is hard to tell the difference between Creed Avantis and this. And some people like that actually better. I gotta catch up, guys. I am backed up, and sorry, Jared. The quiet carry drift in Van X is the best quiet carry knife. Not true. Not true. The 9 is the best. A 9. And that's a fact. So no arguments. The Micro Jimbo was teased at the other Blade show. I didn't see it. Never went up to the Spyderco booth. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have. Man, there, it's difficult to get everything, man. Even you guys are not gonna. What's up?
Do you know where the flippity flappity crammet is? The one.
Yeah, next to the photo box.
Hello, everybody.
It's going to be very difficult for you guys, whoever's going to the Blade show. So, everybody who's going to the Blade show, raise their hand, because you're not going to be able to see everything. You're going to have to decide what is worth hitting and what is not, because you are going to miss a lot. So, you got to decide what's more worth it, right? Is it this booth or that booth? Because some booths you might have to stand there for, and some booths you can just walk up to. So a lot of times you wind up choosing those ones, the ones you can just walk up to, over ones that you have to stand in line because you can hit 3 before you can hit the 1. But there's times where there's people around a booth and you don't even know what booth it is. Like, you'll see the sign up in the thing if you really look, but there's been times where I'm literally like, where the fuck is blah blah blah, and I'm sitting there looking around and I'm right next to it because there's so many people. And listen, whoever's going, make sure you come up and say what's up. Do not hesitate. Come up and say what's up, no matter what I'm doing. Unless if I'm doing like an interview with somebody, but if I'm not doing an interview, doesn't matter if I'm recording or anything, come up and say what's up. I promise you, I would not be upset for you, coming up. And I want everybody to come up and say what's up. I enjoy meeting you guys a lot. Was at my first Blade show in Texas this year. Actually wasn't too crazy, but I hear it's not as big as Atlanta. Right. It's not as big as Atlanta. Atlanta's like double the size. There's different rooms. Like Texas, everything's in one room. It's small compared to Atlanta. A lot smaller. So yeah. And yeah, it's just it's so much more packed, but then it's also so much bigger. So it's completely different. Remember, Atlanta is the world's biggest knife show. World's biggest. Texas would be considered small to that. Remember, like, okay, so Texas has 1 room. They have 3, I think. Three rooms, I think. Sasa says he doesn't bite that hard, so come up and say hi to him too. One thing, somebody said this to me, but I know it very well because of Stasa. So you recognize, like, some people won't even recognize me, but they'll recognize my voice and they'll come over and they'll say, "Hey, I recognize your voice. Are you so-and-so?" But like with Stasa, same thing. Like when he's at the show, when you hear him start talking, you instantly know it's him. It's like I don't know how to explain it. Like, because you understand, because you know the voice so well, it's him, right? And you can find him like really easy. Like, you're like, oh, that's Stasa. I can tell because you know his voice, and everybody else recognizes it too. I don't pay attention to it because it's my own voice, but I had like 20 people say that to me in Texas. Like, they were like, I knew it was you because I could hear you from way over there. And it's like, when I was with Stasa last year, same thing. I could tell when he was, at a booth, I could hear him. But it's just because we recognize each other's voice. Every other voice, you just kind of like cancel out because you're not used to it. So you don't recognize it. But when you get a voice that you do recognize, it's like an alarm. The Para 3 20CV and S45 is selling at my local reseller at almost the same price. If you were to choose, which one is better? The Para 3 20CV and S45. It's Spyderco. So 20CV is going to hold a better edge. S45 would probably be a little bit tougher. Fuck. 20CV. More stain resistant, especially because it's Spyderco. If it was a different company, I would say S45, but since it's Spyderco, I'm going to say 20 CV. I'm thinking a Deca Magna Cut is the best bet and looks badass. Yeah, get the original goat scales though. Make sure you get the original goat scales. They have up their HRC, so their HRC is really good on the Decas now. And yeah, I definitely recommend the Deca. Come on, Jesus, focus. We do have a couple stories for story time coming up. I got a couple good ones. 90% of the people that came up to me last year all said I only knew it was you because of your voice. Yeah, they said it's such a badass voice. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's and you 100% got a unique voice. Like you could have 1,000 people line up right now, and but it's probably because I've heard your voice so much. But if I heard it, I would know instantly it was you. To me, your voice is a very unique voice. With me, it's my own voice, so I feel like my voice is not unique at all. And Jared says, humbled. Yes, I'm Brad Pitt of the knife community. You want to sit down? What do you know about Fight Club? That's hilarious. We're not supposed to talk about it. That's the one thing we should all know about it. Oh, where's my bell? Daniel K, thank you for the 5 memberships. Remember, I can't see it. Sorry, guys. Like when I do when I start doing the podcasting, I bet I'll be able to see the stuff better. But with this, damn it, I can't see it without staring at my phone, and I don't want to do that to you guys. But thank you, Daniel Cat. I do appreciate it, and I don't see anybody else has donated. So, oh no, wait, Daniel Cat did it twice. Did he? Or am I messed up? Oh no, I'm wrong. No, just once. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. You and Stasa are both great. I'm learning how to sharpen and about knife steels watching your channel. Keep up the content and thank you. Awesome, Joe. That's very cool. Yeah, man, I have a ton of sharpening content and I try to get into steel as much as possible. First rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Got 2 paras, and I think it's one of the best. Yes, I agree. I have 2 PM2s. I had a pair of 3, but I gave it away. Do I have 2 or 3? I gave my pair of 3 away. I have 2 PM2s, and then I have 2 Spyderco Manics, 3 Spyderco Manics. Sorry, 3 Spyderco Manics. I have the Gale Bradley. I have the Brower. I have the Yojumbo. I have the Chaparral. I have a Delica. And I probably have something else I can't remember. Do you ever want to build your own knife? Yes, I actually have a couple things in the works right now. I would love to do one like by hand, of course, but I'm not qualified for that. But I do have something designed coming soon. And then I also have something from the USA coming soon. It's a fixed blade. It's like my version and I haven't checked out the prototype yet, so there could be some changes, but it's basically like my version of like what I would want in a self-defense knife. Daniel Cat with the 2 bones. Jared told me to do it twice. I didn't tell you to. I thought I seen it twice. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. He did it. Oh, you did do it again. Thank you, Dan. Another 5 memberships from Dan. Thank you. What the hell? Let me see it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Good point about Spyderco Steel and 20 CV. They really have a great reputation of the steel side of things. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. We can jump says good. Oh, yeah, that's the one I just read. Damn. How drop shut is your Sabenza? It's not sitting right here, but it's not drop shut at all. Sabenzas aren't supposed to be drop shut. When I push the lock bar, it'll drop shut to my thumb, but then like I have to shake it to go down after that. So, but mine's smooth though. Mine's very smooth. It's probably one of the smoother ones because it's old and it's been worked in, but they're stiff when you first get them. Nice sharing the memberships. Yes, it is. And we are not doing a Bang Gang member on Sunday. We are doing it on Monday. So anybody who's a member, you'll be able to come to the Bang Gang membership live at 7:30 p.m. Central Time on Monday. Holy cow, Brad! with the 50 bones. I donate memberships, but Daniel's too quick on the draw. Go, Daniel. Brad, dude, thank you so much. Holy cow. 50 bones, man. I appreciate it. And I definitely appreciate Daniel Cat too, donating 10 members, because that helps us in so many ways. So I appreciate both of you guys. Thank you guys so much. Howard says, I'm old school. I sharpen the stone and some diamond plates. I sharpen with stone. Well, that's the way I do it too. I sharpen everything on stone. Mostly diamond plates, but I do regular stones too. I do natural stones. I do Arkansas stones. I do aluminum oxide stones, Japanese stones, mostly diamond. I love resin bonded the most. Thank you, Brad, man. I appreciate that donation, man. So much. Stasa says, I would put money on you being able to make your own knife, and it would be badass, especially since you can already hold an angle better than most. You just need to buy a cheap grinder. I actually have a grinder. So Mr. Amazing bought me a grinder. I have like literally a brand new USA made, probably a $2,000 grinder. I'm talking about like a high quality one. And it's just sitting in a box right now because when I got it, I thought I would be able to set it up where I'm at, but I can't. Like, it's not possible for me to do it in the location I'm in right now. So after I move to a different location, I will be able to do it, because it's the ventilation and everything that I can't do it with. So I'm in a basement and it just doesn't work out where I'm at. So when we go to a different place, I'll be able to set it up, and I'm definitely going to be using it because I would love to make a knife, and I know I could. I'm not qualified to do it right now, but I'm definitely qualified to give it a damn shot, because I've worked with tools my whole life. Like, I've done so much shit with tools, so I know I could pick it up pretty quick. Ramon with the 2 bones says, I was serious about the kick stop. I emailed you. Okay. You're talking about that. You're talking about the Medford? Let me see what you're talking about really quick. Or maybe I should do this afterwards. You must have did the Neevesknives one. I'll check it after we're done with this. Well, then I'm going to send you some bar stock so you can get to it. Yeah, right. Man, I would if I could set that damn thing up. I would, but I can't use it. That's the problem, man. Maybe in the future I will. In the future. And thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it so much. I do my grinding in my backyard. Yeah, so I can't do that either. That's what I'm saying. Like, trust me, I've tried to think of everything. I can't do it here. That's the problem. I just can't. So we're not in our own place or anything. We live with people and shit. Daniel Cad with the 5 bones. I will tend to all your ventilation. Thank you, Dan, for another 5 bones. Yeah, Neevesknives one. The Neevesknives one. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out as soon as I'm done with this. Any idea when y'all are moving? No idea. We wanted to do it by January last year, but because of the economy tanking, we didn't know what the future was going to be like, and we're still, worried about that. So we didn't want. We're in a very comfortable place, right? So it's difficult. And listen, I'm the guy who goes all in, right? That's me. But I'm not going to do that with Kara, because, it's one thing if it's just me at risk, but it's another thing, we're in a very comfortable place. We're in a very privileged position right now. So it'd be stupid for us to fuck that over, to, to screw ourselves. So I'm going to see how things are going to go. And as long as things go smoothly for so long, then we'll find a place and move. But everything started going up. Like, places now are insanely expensive, like crazy. And if I move anywhere here, it's like retarded. So, if I move to somewhere that I want to, another state or something, but I don't know, even if I moved around here somewhere, I'd have to find, something not too crazy expensive, but it's more about making sure the economy stays afloat and I have an income coming in. Because there's one thing with doing YouTube, man, you know, it can all crumble really quickly on you. That's the one bad thing. And I hope that it doesn't. And, you know, and no matter what, it doesn't matter. I'll always be fine because I'll bust my ass regardless. There's no stopping me. I'm a worker. So, you know, if one thing doesn't work, I'll pick up something else. So, but you know, I'd like this to be the thing, and I'm going to continue busting my ass, and I'm going to make it work. So no matter what, it's going to be this. But what I'm saying though is I don't know how the next year is going to go, but I do know how the long run is going to go because I'm going to make it work no matter what. I'm going to bust my ass until. So I'm trying to be a fucking millionaire. So I'm going to bust my ass until then. Thing is so smooth. Listen to the sound of this thing. It's so clickety clackety, but I love it. Hear that? It's because of it hits the kick stop on the way down. So when it hits it, you can hear the click, 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 click. I love it. All right. So we have story time coming up in a second. Seems Logical says, that's my issue in New York. Wages are higher than average, but the price of everything outpaces increases wages. Right. And, you know, in the area we're in right now, everything's so expensive here. Like I could go to Wisconsin, you know, there's things I could do to make it more affordable, but, you know, just not knowing like how things are going to go. Like we see gas prices, we see, you know, eggs and milk and things like that. And then rent and cars and everything's going through the roof, but the people's money isn't, right? So we'll see. Hopefully things turn around. So scent of the day. Let's talk about scent of the day. So I wanted to pick some sweet fragrances for scent of the day. I have a super masculine sweet fragrance, and then I have some not so. They're more like gourmand sweet. So the first one is Dolce Gabbana The One. This is a super masculine sweet fragrance. It's a tobacco fragrance. So it has a good amount of like tobacco. It's got some wood in there, and then it's got like a almost like a minty sweet. It's kind of weird how to explain it, like a vanilla mint or something. So, you know, kind of like a menthol cigarette in a way, but not like smoking it, but like the actual scent of the tobacco, almost like that, but sweeter, right? So like there's obviously more sweetness, so it doesn't smell bad. It smells really good. And this is actually a very, very popular fragrance among men. Like a lot of the fragrance channels, like they love this shit. The one problem with it is it doesn't last very long. Now it's really good, and it's a fragrance you could just like soak yourself in because it's not super strong. So it's the type of fragrance that you could just drown yourself in, and you're not gonna like blow people away, but you're gonna smell really good. Now I would recommend actually spraying it like that because otherwise, after an hour or two, you're not gonna smell it. But if you spray yourself really good, you'll smell it for about 4 to 6 hours, and it's really, really good. Even Kara, she came in here right before I went live because I sprayed this on, and she was telling me how good I smelled. Like I said, it's a tobacco fragrance, so you have that note in there, but in a good way. So it's a leafy, woody, very masculine fragrance, but with some sweetness on it, almost like a menthol, vanilla menthol. Now the next one is an absolute sweet fragrance. Like this is sweet as fuck. So this is one I would say if you're not used to sweet fragrances, get a tester of it because it is super duper sweet. And that is Stronger With You Intensely. So this is an Armani fragrance, Stronger With You Intensely. You can see it has like a boozy look to it. It smells, it's got like almost like a Christmas scent. Kara says it smells like Christmas, but it's got like a cinnamon, a little bit of spice, and like some like nuttiness. It's nutty, it's boozy. There's multiple different versions of this. This is the Intensely, so this is the sweetest one. But they have other ones. They have another one that's more boozy and more spicy. Then they have another one that's more nutty. This one is a balance between everything, where it has a small bit of spice, a lot of sweetness, a lot of nuttiness, a lot of booziness, and it is fire. It's really good. It's addictively, it's very addicting. But it's gourmand though. It's more of a scent that smells like it's edible. You know, it's almost gourmand. It's not 100% gourmand, but it's very powerful. It lasts this will probably last 12 hours. So it's a beast mode fragrance, but very sweet. And I love it. I think it's absolutely amazing. Now, my all-time at the moment favorite sweet fragrance, which we've talked about before. I actually have a big ass bottle coming right now, like probably one like this. 1 million lucky. 1 million lucky. This is a very, very sweet fragrance. It's sweet like this one, but different. This one's more sugar, like almost like hot sugar, caramely smell. It's so fucking good though, man. It's so good. Like when you spray it on, like nobody could dislike this. I would say like you might smell it and be like, this doesn't smell like a man's fragrance, but just know that there is no such thing as a woman's and man's fragrance. There's feminine and masculine. That's all there is. And if you guys knew, maybe you guys probably don't, but as far as the women in the fragrance communities, they all wear men's fragrances because men's fragrances, for some reasons, are better quality than females. So almost all like women in the fragrance community wear mostly men fragrances over female. So just know that like there's no real, and this is a men's fragrance, but you're definitely going to think it's a little bit more feminine because of how sweet it is and how gourmand it is, but in a good way. Like I said, you put it on and it's hard for a girl not to like want to smell you. Like she's going to come after you and want to smell you right away. Even with me, when I smell it, like I start wanting to go back. Like if I put it on, like I'll continue smelling it like throughout the day because it's so damn good. Now, we talked about this one last week, and this one has a little bit of sweetness in it, but it's spicy, sweet, cardamom, fresh. It's like a shower gel fresh, and that's Versace Dylan Blue. We always talk about it. We talked about it last week. Versace Dylan Blue is an absolute banger. It wouldn't be considered a sweet fragrance, but it has a sweet note of like, I call it a black cherry, but I don't know what exactly it is, but I say it's like a black cherry. It's like a spicy black cherry mixed with super fresh shower gel. So like fresh out of the shower type of shampoo-y smell, like really, really fresh with a little bit of spice and a little bit of like black cherry. Fire. My most recommended fragrance probably. And it's so affordable. You're kind of dumb if you don't have this because this is one of the best men's fragrances money can buy. And it's also the most liked men's fragrance by all women. I've never seen a woman smell it and say, oh, I don't like that. Never, not once. Gonna buy it, but don't want men coming after me. Well, the women will be coming after you, I would hope. Are you a girl? No. So, well, whatever you like, man, whatever you like. Did you know that Begleiter, like the Kaiser knife, literally means companion in German? I knew it meant something. I remember when it first came out, everybody was saying that, but no, I forgot though. Yeah. Don't hit the fine print, bro. Does it get chicks or not? Yes. Yes, I would say all of these get chicks. Every single one of them I just listed. The most is going to be these two for sure. But this one would be third, strong third. Like these two are like neck to neck, but this one's better for sure, at least in my opinion. Some people might like the tiny bit of spice that's in this because it's like a cinnamon. But this one it's more masculine. This one's going to be more where guys are going to probably lean more towards liking this as far as sweeter fragrances go. But I don't know though, because I don't. So I guess it just depends, because to me, I've already told you my list, I think the 1 million is the best out of the group, and then Versace Dylan Blue is a must-have. The other one, I would say get a test sample because it's super sweet and it might not be your cup of tea with the type of sweetness it is. Personally, for me, when I hear a sweet fragrance, when I hear the notes and stuff, like what's in there, I want it. And I'm not scared to wear sweet fragrances, like, because I'm so fucking, I fucking pour out masculinity fucking out of my fucking pores. So I got to do something, and like I said, and bitches love the smell of this shit. So, and hopefully you guys aren't stinking at Blade Show, and hopefully, you guys are smelling fresh, right? Nobody wants to smell a BO bastard. Nobody wants to do that. And I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. You'd be surprised how many do, man. You guys are going to see. If it's your first time going to Blade Show, you're going to see. There's just some, people, they, it's not even about hygiene. I think it's just that they don't know what they smell like. And so it's not that they have poor hygiene. It's just that they're always around their own scent, so they don't know how they smell. They don't have anybody around them telling them, "Hey, man, your truck kind of stinks," or whatever. But if they just did their due diligence to make sure that doesn't happen, it wouldn't matter, because you're never going to get stuck in a scent bubble. You won't get stuck in a scent bubble if your scent bubble always changes. Remember that. I'm going to say that again. You won't get stuck in a scent bubble if your scent always changes. Remember that. That's a huge thing, because how many people do you know that smell a certain way and you wonder, like, how do they not know they stink? How do they not know their house smells like cat piss? How do they not know, you know what I mean? Whatever, right? Like, kind of like my Uber the other day. That was absolutely absurd that guy can't smell how bad he stunk. It was so bad. And I hate to talk crap about him, but it was god awful bad, like vomit bad. And he didn't notice any difference. But if he changed his scent bubble, he would literally smell right now and be like, "What the fuck?" If he got out of his scent bubble for a fucking hour. Oh, you want girls just pour Blaytons all over yourself. What's Blaytons? What the hell is that, Ian? Fuck Bud overweight. We ain't out of touch. It's just advertisements for trans push. It's in every big man's gig. Please shower every night at Blade Show. Please, please, please. Yes, that is so true. And that's another thing, is that if you don't, like, remember, you're walking around like with fucking thousands of people. You are sweating, even if you don't feel like you're sweating, right? So yeah, take a shower afterwards, be nice and fresh, and it'll make you feel better. Most of you, if you're used to being hygienic, you're gonna want one anyways, because you're gonna realize, like, at the end of the fucking day, you're done, man. You're done. You're pooped. You're shit tired, and you're ready to hit a shower and lay down. Your feet are gonna be sore. You're gonna feel like you stink, even if you don't. I've been wearing Acqua di Gio for too long. I need to change it. Yes, you do. And that's a good fragrance. And I have, I think, 3 Acqua di Gios. I have the blue, the black, and the clear. But yeah, I would say that while those are like timeless scents, they're timeless. Like that, they will always smell good. That's a timeless fragrance, but it's a 90s timeless fragrance. That's the thing. However, there are so many other fragrances that will get so much more attention. Versace Dylan Blue, for an example, this will get so much more attention than that. And listen, the studies have shown it. Like, they've done hundreds of street tests on this, and hands down, like, Versace Dylan Blue wins almost every single time against everything. What do you think about YSL? I like it. I like all the YSLs. I have 4 or 5 different YSLs. I like them all. I'm trying to think of that exact one, the Loam. I might have it. But it's good. They're all good. They're all really, really good. They have this, like, the same. They have the same DNA because they're all YSL. So that is one thing. Like, if you like their DNA, then you'll like all their fragrances. Kara, for some reason, I think it's the EDT or the ED. I think it's the EDT. She thinks has a an olive oil scent, even though it's literally like one of the most, like, wanted fragrances in the fragrance community by women and men. It's like extremely popular. For some reason, that particular one, all the rest of them from YSL, she loves. But this one particular one, which I think smells amazing, and I know the scent she's talking about, but she always thinks it smells like olive oil. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but that's a note she gets. And I know the note she's talking about, but I just, I could never picture it as that. but she does. But girls do that all the time, though. Lisa, hey mom, yeah, I seen my mom in here for a minute. Lisa Pape made this good fella. Yes, she did. What's wrong?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm grabbing a cheese stick.
Oh, I just dab a little dry film KPL on my pits and the panties dry. Yeah, right. A little KPL. A little KPL. The KPLs do smell good. They do smell good. You know, the ones from Gunny Juice, they really smell good. They all have different notes. Like some of them, one's like vanilla, one's like cinnamon. They smell really good. I'm 2 a days on shower. Clean is good. 2 a day. Damn, son. I use Sex Panther 60% of the time. It works every time. Scientifically speaking, showering every day isn't bad. It is the use of chemicals every day that is the issue. I wouldn't say, like, I'm not even saying you have to, on a regular basis, have to shower every day. I think you can get by with every other day if you're clean, right? If you're not like out working labor or something like that, like depending on what you do, right? But when you're at a show, that's different because you're literally walking miles and miles with next to thousands of people. So it's different. But on your regular day to day, depending on what you do, you might only need a shower 2 or 3 times a week. Like, you know yourself better than anything, but you know when you're dirty and when you're not. And if you're doing like other things like skincare and stuff like me, I do the Tish handling. So I got the whole kit. So I stay on top of my skincare. That's why I look so young and so supple. But I try to stay on top of shit like that. And if you do, you're gonna look better than the 90%. That's how it goes, right? If you smell good, you're gonna smell better than the 90%. Everything, like if you just try, it doesn't matter what it is. If you just try, you're gonna be better than the 90% because most people are not trying. And that's why I advocate for men to bust their ass, work hard, and try doing these things. Try looking good. You know, try to get your style changed. And that's another thing, like style, right? Like I'm not saying I'm like the best or anything, like not even close, but I try to pay attention to different styles and what's in style, what's out of style. And you can see there's tons of channels that relate to this, that where there's like literally like girls or women that are like men's stylists. There's even men that are men's stylists, and they'll help you figure out like maybe what fit is best for your body or your shape, because maybe you carry weight a certain way. So this type of clothes would be best for a type of guy that carries weight like you, right? So figuring out those things will help you so much in life, because there's nothing worse than like seeing, and I'm not trying to talk shit to anybody in here. I'm really not. So do not take it like that. But like when you see somebody who's completely out of style, right? And they look like they just woke up from the 70s or something. Like it's, obviously that person's not going to get the attention that somebody else would. So it's on you to do those things. And I think if you do, you can easily stand out among the crowd. Easily. It doesn't matter what you look like. There's so many factors that don't matter as long as you try, as long as you attempt, as long as you do little things, right? Even as little as like drinking a lot of water, right? Drinking a lot of water can do so much for you. Jimmy Choo Man intense. Yeah, I got some of that. Yeah, that shit's good. That shit's really good. That stuff reminds me of, if you like that, you need to get the Coach for Men. Stasa, if you like the Jimmy Choo, get the Coach for Men. It is better. They last about the same long because both of them don't last very, very long, but like 4 to 6 hours. But the other one, they're the same type of fragrance, same type, but you will love the Coach for Men. Trust me on this. I might be weird, but I've been looking for a scent that's kind of leathery, woody. Is there anything out there? Yes, leathery and woody. So yes, Coach Platinum. Coach Platinum. That is a banger suede fragrance. So it's leathery, suede, woody fragrance. It's not sweet. It's not fresh. It's literally a leathery, woody fragrance in a good way. What I like to do with that one is I like to wear it on its own, but I really like to wear it with the Coach for Men on top of it, because the Coach for Men is a sweet, fresh fragrance, and the other one's a leathery, woody fragrance. So it literally makes the best combination of like a sweet, fresh, leathery, woody fragrance if you mix the two. But yes, Coach Platinum. I have a good sense of smell. Someone told me it's the Netherlands DNA. I shower, then bathe, and use a washcloth on my crevices, then air dry under the fan. Too much info? Thanks, we can jump. You probably just saved somebody. I'm a big sweaty man, and I have to do it every day. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, when I was in construction, no matter what, you have to every day. You don't have a choice. You do not have a choice. Like now, I don't work construction, so like I can get by every other day. But I also, I do everything else twice a day. Like I don't necessarily wash my face twice a day every day, but I try to do it twice a day. But I at least do it every day. Obviously, my brushing your teeth, do that definitely 2 to 3 times a day. But just keeping up with yourself, man. Check look at your elbows right now. If you're and mine get bad, so I'm not talking shit to anybody. Mine are fucking horrifying. My elbow, sometimes when I don't pay attention, I'll go to touch it and it'll feel like sandpaper. I'm talking about like on a super bad level, like really bad. Like it's like, damn, how'd you let this get this bad? So Kara gave me this stuff, this honey oil. This shit it's so good. It's just an oil, but it's like kind of like lotion. Just a little dab of that will take care of it for like a week. It's really good. I also have 12 pairs of underwear, one for each month. Remember, yellow in the front, brown in the back. All right, let's get to story time. I got 1 ounce sample of 1 million lucky on the way. You're gonna fucking love it. 1 ounce sample, dude. You're gonna love it. What is this one? 3.5? I don't know. Oh, 1.7. Okay, so yeah, no, you got a decent amount then. If this is 1.7, yeah, you're gonna love it, man. It's super sweet. Just know it is a sweet fragrance, but give it a shot. I'm telling you, because so one thing you have to get, if you're like a man's man, you got to get over like say with me, right? When I first smelled not this fragrance but other sweet fragrances, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I could wear that. But then I smelled it again and I was like, I kind of like this stuff. Then I started wearing it and I was like, fuck man, I love this shit. And then it's like, damn it, like you're buying extra bottles of it and shit. But also the people around you are like, you smell good, so it pays off. My elbows aren't perfect. Shea butter with mint, lavender, and patchouli are great for skin and elbows. Great information. Patchouli's in a lot of my fragrances. Would you recommend the Amazon knife sharpening stones for 154 cm and for beginners in sharpening? Yes, I would, but I would recommend even more the Work Sharp bench sharpener that comes with diamond plates. One, you can replace the diamond plates, and this is the reason why. Let me explain why. So the Amazon knife sharpening kits are aluminum oxide. So, and they're also soft aluminum oxide. They're not super hard. So what happens is you have to condition them, you have to flatten them, you have to keep them wet. They're just high maintenance stones, so they're going to be a fucking mess. And you're going to have to worry about the stones. So you're going to have to put so much attention into the stones rather than the sharpening. If you're learning sharpening, get diamonds. You don't have to think about the stones. You don't have to wet them. You don't do anything. You can just do them dry. Just go to town. Start sharpening. You don't have to worry about flattening them. They wear out over time, but you don't have to worry about that. You're learning sharpening. You're brand new. So you have plenty of time. Get the Work Sharp bench stone. The Work Sharp bench stone. It's a tri-stone. And so it's 3 diamond plates and you can flip it and it has an angle guide and everything. So you'll have the angles, diamonds. It's a great set. I got one in the other room. Highly recommend it. Knives Frags, you start talking about handmade boots, and I think we are long lost brothers. I actually do talk about boots a lot. I don't have any handmade boots, but I do want to dip my toes in eventually. I'd love to get some whites or some nicks. I'd love to get some nicks. I'm only as deep as like Red Wings, Thursdays, things like that, you know, those types. I got some really nice boots though. I love my Red Wings. I've been wearing Red Wings for 20 years. Probably longer than that actually. But yeah, Knicks is something I do want to eventually try. They're very expensive though. And the way I think about it is like for $600-700, I could get a great $350-400 pair of like American made boots. I could get two. I could get two for that. Now, you know, granted, I know the Knicks boots will last like forever. You can get them resold and everything. I'm just not sure if I want to get it resold after like 10 years. I might think those boots are like, they're starting to look like shit. I want a new pair. And as much as resoling a boot costs, like you almost might as well just buy a new boot. But anyways, I still do want a pair though. You know, I do want a pair because I've heard they're the best. You're starting to sound like you might be the type of guy who orders pina coladas with extra umbrellas. Just fucking with you. Yeah, I don't drink. I mean, I'll drink at the whatchamacallit, I'll drink beers or whatever, but no, I'm not much of a drinker. What's a good set of boots? What's a good set of boots go for? So USA made, you're gonna pay, you can go from between, yeah, we're getting the story right now, Fred. They're going to start about 300 for, well, 250. 250 is where they start. $250 is where good USA made boots start. So you're going to spend between $250 and $400. That's good pair of USA made boots. You can go to Thursday. Thursday's got some. That's going to be like the most affordable USA made. You can go to Origin, which is Jocko's boot thing, and every piece of that boot is made in the USA. But Red Wing Iron Rangers, that's why I always recommend the most. Red Wing Iron Rangers are like, they're like $350, but they are badass. Thing is Red Wings take time to break in. Like you have to have like I think it's like 100 hours of break-in time. So don't get it and be like, holy shit, these are so uncomfortable, I can't wear them. They're gonna be fucking uncomfortable for the first couple, like that's why you only wear them for a couple hours a day. Break them in, and then they'll feel like gloves, but they feel like you're walking on 2x4s for the first few days. So just know that. All right, let's get to story time. So we have two story times. So I want to talk about one time when I was jumped for my shoes. So that's one story. And then I also want to talk about starving. So I guess the first one we'll talk about with the jumped one. So I'm young, like, so, and I know about how old I am just because of where I was living at the time. Anyway, so where I was living, directly across the street, there was an alley, because like where I come from, there's alleys everywhere, right? So there's this alley. Now that alley stretches like a couple blocks because like every block you hit another road, go down the block, another road, and it just travels on. And then there's some side streets, or sorry, side alleys hooked to the alley. So there's like you know, where there's like where it tees off basically. So anyway, so it's like directly right in front of my place where I live at the time. And I walk out the door, get on I'm walking down the alley, and I'm walking straight down the alley, and these dudes, right, are coming like basically the same. Oh yeah, I should back up. So you know what's funny is I've been trying to search for these shoes and I can't find them, but they were the Jordans back in the 90s. They were they had 23 on them. They were red and white. For some reason I cannot find them, but they were super popular at the time. Like so popular. Like everybody wanted them, everybody had them in school. Like it was a huge thing to have the J's, have the Jordans. And my grandma got me some for like Christmas or my birthday, something, right? And so I put them on, and I don't think she knew what she was getting me. I think she just went to a place and asked them, you know, like what was in style or whatever, and they told her that. And so anyway, so I have those on, and I go across the street. I'm walking down the alley, and as I'm walking down the alley, these dudes, there's 5 dudes are walking up, and they instantly I can see them like kind of nodding, a little bit. Like I already knew like what time it was. You kind of know shit. And so I kind of knew what time it was, but I wasn't going to be a punk. So I just continued walking. And then they started like talking to me, like trying to be cool. But I knew they weren't from my neighborhood, because it's my neighborhood. So now this neighborhood like really isn't like super, super bad, but it's really close to a bad neighborhood. Now I lived on both ends. So because I had different parents, so I also knew the people in the other neighborhood, and I knew they weren't from there. So they had to have been from like a little bit farther away. So that means they went to a completely different school. I didn't know them or anything like that. So that's what kind of threw me off at first. Like, what are these guys even doing walking down this alley right now? And so when they start talking to me, you can kind of tell when somebody's like trying to swindle you in a way, and like just like the way they're talking to you, even if they're trying to be nice. So, and he's trying to be nice, but then it goes right to like aggression, like really quick, and he starts like talking shit and wants my shoes. All right, and I'm like, I'm not giving you my shoes, and there were, like I said, there was 5 of them, but I only wound up fighting 4 of them, mostly 3, but anyway, so they start like kind of surrounding me a little bit, like behind me, and there's not much you can do when there's 4 people, right? There's nothing you can really do when there's 4 people. They're gonna surround you. It's not like you can turn. You try, and I gotta say, I was really good at one thing, which is stacking people even back then, which would be like trying to line them up. If you were going to have to fight a couple people, try to line them up as much as possible, but it's impossible when you're in an alley. Let's just be clear. So they start talking shit. I said, you're not getting my shoes. And then they even like said something like, are you willing like, get beat up for your shoes or something like that. They said something to that nature. And I was like, well, you're not getting them. So yeah, you're not getting my shoes. And I think that surprised them. So because I don't think they planned on me fighting back. I think they thought I was just gonna be like, oh, here you go, here's my shoes. And since I didn't, now they have to jump me, right? So it's either one, they're punks and they're just talking shit, which sometimes happens. Don't get me wrong, that happens often. But these guys obviously outnumbered me like crazy. So they start surrounding me, and then they start grabbing me, right? So I start fighting with them. I'm hitting one and getting hit from the back. That it's not easy to win a fight between 4 people. Like I said, you try to pull and turn people into other people, kind of, like when you're fighting, but you're getting hit from so many different directions. There's no way to fight 4 people. At least not in an alley, maybe in other situations. So I'm getting my ass kicked, getting hit, getting stomped. And, but I'm fighting back really good though. And like I said, all 5 of them didn't jump me. It was only the 4 and mostly 3. So, so I didn't, thank God. So I remember I wound up falling on the ground, and I'm like fighting with them on the ground. And this is in the alley, so there's gravel everywhere. And the one, because they're trying to get my shoes, right? So they grab my shoes, they start dragging. So I remember I was getting like dragged, but I somehow was able to turn around and get up. While I'm getting dragged, like you kind of turn on, like you bounce onto one leg. So now I'm like kind of bouncing. He's like got like one leg. It kind of like something like that. It's hard to remember, so long ago, but I was getting dragged, and like somehow I turned around, and so he didn't get the shoe. He didn't get it off. Luckily, because I kicked too, right? You're kicking and shit, and I'm fucking doing everything possible to save these shoes. Like I'm not wanting to give them up. So, and they're getting all fucked up in the process. So it's like, I'm not giving them up, but I'm also just fucking them up because I'm in an alley in the gravel. So they're just, grinding into that, all on the side walls of the shoes, getting all scratched up. And finally they like started giving up because, it was obviously, it wasn't something easy, right? It wasn't easy. So they wound giving up, and then I was steady talking shit. Still, they just steady talking mad shit like an idiot. And because I was doing that, I think they felt beat, because like it didn't work. you know, I was still fighting back, so there was still a fight, and I was talking shit. So I think they just felt like they weren't gonna get them, and it wasn't worth it because they were getting hurt too, right? I'm hitting them, you know, I'm kicking them, and uh, I don't remember if I was biting or anything like that. I don't think so, but you know, it's a big scuffle, so like you're getting grabbed so many different ways. But they didn't get the shoes. That's the point, and I did get away, or not get away. I didn't get away. I got jumped, but they didn't get the shoes, and I got to walk away with my scratched up, fucked up shoes. But it was definitely an experience, and obviously, you know, like I said, since they were from a, you know, obviously another part of the neighborhood, they probably had walked over there. It's like I said, it's like next to like a really bad part of the neighborhood, but this area would be considered a bad area to most people. But to those people, the people that live in the other neighborhood, which is like 2 blocks away, that would be the better part, right? So they'd be easier to jump somebody for shit. Uh, anyways, but good times, good times. Used shoes at that, used shoes at that. Yeah, but the thing is, like I said, so this is the thing is that they were the shoes. So like everybody wanted them. Like when you went to school, like the 3 or 4 kids that did have them, which who knows how the fuck they got them from their parents, you know, dope deals and stuff. There was a huge thing, you know, like it was a status symbol, right? So it was like having like a gold chain on or something, you know. So it was like a status symbol, and and because of that, like little things like that can be so popular in a neighborhood of people that don't have much, right? And you know, it's a decently poor neighborhood, especially when you start getting into, you know, the Section 8 apartment projects and stuff. When you start getting into those neighborhoods, they don't have much. So shoes can be something huge to them, and that's why they take such good care of their shoes, because they're expensive to them, and they know it's somewhat of a status thing. They, you know, other people look at it, and you know, so you might think of it as used, but to them, it's, well, it's not used if they get them quick, because you know they were pretty new, like they're brand new. Uh anyways, oh yes, I can hear you, sweetheart. Want to say good night. I love you, Mom. Thank you for joining as always. I love you. I will talk to you later. Um, sweet dreams. But yeah, no, next thing I want to talk about is another story. So completely different story, completely off topic, not the same one. Who does Chuck Norris call? Yeah, right. I'm starting in 9 minutes if you want to swing by. Thank you for the 2 bones, Mike. So the next story is about hunger. So, and I wanted to talk about this because I was thinking about it the other day, and I don't remember what made me think of it, but something made me think of it, and it reminded me of when I starved. Like, and I don't, what was it? I don't remember. I think somebody was talking on like something, you know, some video or something, and they were talking about when you're this hungry, these are the things you think about, and it brought me back to thinking about times when I was so fucking hungry, and I kind of want to talk about like what goes through your head, but and what you wind up doing, because like people think they've been hungry, but if you literally haven't like dreamt and like had nightmares of food, like I mean, like literally, like you're like you close your eyes for 5 minutes and all you can dream about, you can't dream of anything else but food. So, and you're so hungry that you start looking at things that are not food as food, like leather, right? Like leather. Like you start thinking about like, oh, it's just cow skin. It's just cow skin, right? Like fucking, why couldn't I eat it? You know, your brain starts doing that stuff, and you start processing things that really aren't edible, and you start wondering if you could eat them. So when you start getting to that level of hunger, and like I said, in dreaming, and you're at first your body starts craving sugar. So that's the first, at least for me, that's what happened. So like sugar and sweets, and I think it's because like you're so depleted that it knows, your body inherently knows that that would give you, you know, a little bit of energy, that would juice you up a little bit. But then after that passes and you don't get that, then eventually it goes to meat. and then you start craving meat, and you're wanting something like with a protein, something with a burger, something, right? Anything really, it doesn't matter. And like I said, you start dreaming of food, like, and I mean like on a crazy level, like where things around you are food, everything's food, and you can't eat. And what's really crazy is in the nightmares, you're trying to eat usually and you can't. So even in your dreams, you can't fucking eat. And it sucks so bad. But anybody who's been in this situation, right, especially long term, more than a day, you know, right? Because if you've gotten to that hungry, it's been days, right? So what do, right? What do you do when you're starving? What do people do, right? So the number one thing to do first is to go to the food bank, right? So what's a food bank? The food bank is basically like a church. Churches, they get donations from stores, from grocery stores around the community, and it's like food that's gonna expire soon, but it's not expired, and they'll get them and they'll give them away to the families that are hungry, right? So you can go and you can get in line, and as long as you're part of that community, you get in line and you can get a box of food. Like they'll give you like rice, beans, peanut butter, things like that. And sometimes they'll have some decent stuff in there. But one thing that happens every week is it's a lot of the same stuff. So what you'll have is you'll have like one or two things that are different, and then everything else is the exact same. So like you can only handle and eat so much peanut butter. You can only eat so many beans. You can only eat so much rice. Do you know what I mean? Like until you're literally throwing up thinking about that food, and that's all you have, right? And like I said, there'll be like one or two things, and they also allow you to eat when you're there. They'll usually, if especially if it's like a morning one, it's once a week. You go there, you get a meal, they give you a hot meal, and then you can stand in line and fill a box. You go around in a circle, fill your box full of food, and it's all people from around the neighborhood trying to help people. Like it's a beautiful thing. It really is, because it's people helping people through a church. And usually most communities have one of these. So what happens is a lot of people will skip and go to different communities, because the one box is never enough for the entire week, right? Because you have a whole week till you come back. So you'll try to go to a different one, but you have to be part of that community, and they'll check your ID. They'll let you in one or two times without an ID. But then after you've been in there a couple times, they'll want to see that you're from that city, right? Just because they know people will be bouncing around. Anyways, but once you get to a point to where that food is the same food every week, and it's been months now, and you can't eat that food no more, like you just can't, you can't eat it. It just doesn't happen, because it's like you. And listen, I could eat the same thing every day, but it's talking about eating the same thing that's not all the nutrition you need, right? So it's just enough to be edible, but not enough to be nutritious. And you get so sick of it that even just thinking about it makes you want to throw up. Anyway, so when you get to that point, then you guys know what comes next. Then you gotta start fucking stealing, right? And then you gotta start stealing food. You gotta start figuring out ways to eat, right? Obviously, you can go to grocery stores and just grab shit and put it in your pockets and stuff, but which is petty as fuck. But when you're starving, you're willing to do anything. And everybody who says that they wouldn't do it, and I remember, I think the last time I told this story a long time ago, I was talking about it, somebody said, oh, I would never do that. I would never steal for food. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. And by saying that just shows that you've never been through something so horrifying that's led you to do it. But don't pretend that you wouldn't do it if you weren't in the situation. So everybody says that. I've even said that. Everybody acts like that. But I'd like to give this scenario. The scenario of like your child is starving, right? You have a child, and I said this in the podcast the other day at the Purpose Podcast. If your child is starving to death, and I mean like your child's crying because they're hungry, they're starving, it's on you to feed them, it's on you to protect them, it's on you to nurture them and all this shit. And they're crying and they're starving and you have nothing. Now, obviously, there's certain things you're going to try to do before that, but when those things fail and there is no other thing, guess what? You're fucking going and stealing. You're gonna. And I don't care what anybody says. Anybody who says otherwise just has never been through the situation. Of course, there's things you try to do before that. You try to go, do jobs, work, and do this, and ask people, just ask people for help, go to your friend's house, go to family. Of course, you do all that stuff. But there winds up being situations that where you can't get past, like you can't do anything. And the only thing and you literally struggle to come up with every answer and everything possible. And that's the thing, is that people don't realize like how much that happens. Like your brain is like operating like 200 times the rate of when anybody else is operating, because you're trying to think of everything possible to make things work, to get food, to get this, to get gas, to get, and yeah, it's I can put myself back in that position. And that's what made me think about it the other day, because when I heard somebody talking about starving, I forget why they were. I think they were out like lost or something. Anyways, but it made me go back to that time of just being so god awful hungry that I couldn't think of anything but food. And then things started turning to food. Like literally the things around you start looking edible. Like you're fucked up. I would never judge someone for stealing food. That is absolute right. Exactly. And that's why I don't either. Like, because I like, especially when it's for that, right? It's different. Like, right? When people are stealing for bullshit, but when somebody's stealing to eat, you got to feel some sort of way about that, because they've crossed the lines of which it's acceptable, right? Because, and that's what you got to think about, is the acceptable part. It's most likely not that it's acceptable to them. They don't inherently think it's a good thing. It's that they've crossed this line that, guess what? This is the last straw. Like, it's acceptable now. Everything becomes acceptable at a certain point, right? It's kind of like somebody saying, well, I would never shoot somebody, right? I would never shoot somebody. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Or I would never hit somebody. Yes, you would. I would never do this or that. Yes, you would. It just takes that circumstance up to that point to where it's not tolerable anymore. And when you can't tolerate it, not for another moment, not for another second, and especially if your life is on the line, you're gonna do it. You're gonna fucking do it. And yeah, fight or flight, right? Fight or flight. And you instantly you go into fight mode. You really do, because it is surviving, especially when you really feel it, when you can just feel yourself depleting. You realize, like, if I don't get something now, I'm not going to be able to. And your brain starts thinking that way, where it's like, I got to get something now, because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to do it tomorrow. Like if I go on till tomorrow, I won't be able to maintain myself to do it, right? Because you'll be collapsing, delusional, things like that. So you want to do it when you have that tiny bit of strength left. It's kind of like, like, say, being like lost out in the woods, right? And like hunting for food. You don't go hunting for food when you're starved to death and you can't move. You want to try to get something before that point, right? Did anyone ever hear about Christopher Thomas Knight? The guy lived in the middle of the woods in Maine by himself for 30 years. When things got bleak, he would steal from people's homes. Yeah, I actually do know what you're talking about. And yeah, of course, people are going to do that. That's if you live off the grid, you're already struggling because you're off the grid. Now, obviously, if you're prepared off the grid, that's different, right? It's different when you're prepared. Like, you have a camper, motorhome, you have guns, ammunition, place to hunt, place to fish, grills to cook on, things like that. You're prepared. You're going to do pretty good, but you're eventually going to run out of shit. You're always gonna. Eventually, you're going to run out of shit. And sometimes it is easier, because, like I said before, your brain goes to a point, and I'm not saying this is good. So do not take me wrong right now. I'm not saying this is good. It's a horrible thing, but your brain does get to a point to where you say, I need it more than they do, right? Whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's money, whether it's tools, whether it's food, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your brain says, I need that way more than they do. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And when your brain starts getting to that point, right? Obviously, it gets dangerous because now you're willing to do horrible, horrible things to fulfill yourself and with no regards to the other people, which is not good, right? It's obviously not good. But you guys, you got to think like that though, because there's people like that. There's people all around you. I guarantee there's not more than 1,000 feet away from you right now. There's somebody going through that right now. So, you know, you got to be careful because like in certain places, in certain situations, you never know how bad and how fast it can turn. And I've done some horrible things, so I know how bad it can get really quick, and the things that can happen to you when you're least expecting it. And you know, it's sad, but it's reality. It's life, you know. Dave Goodrich, thank you, man, for the 5 bones, man. I appreciate it. Look at that dog. Gotta love that dog. Does it take a super keen edge? Magnica takes a really good edge, yeah. As long as it's heat treated right. The better it's heat treated, the better the edge will come out. That's how it always goes. The worse the heat treat, the worse the edge. The better the heat treat, the better the edge will come out. I'd never let it get to that point. There's too many stores that have food you could just eat. Like I said, the worst thing is you get arrested, then you have to feed you. I'm not sure what you mean. So, of course, nobody tries to let it get to that point, but people do. That's the point. And if you are the person that winds up getting to that point, right? Nobody tries to let it get to that point. Nobody. Everybody tries to not let it get to that point. But when it does get to that point, you're going to be willing to do certain things that you're not willing to do otherwise. And yeah, you do pull all the strings. You try doing everything else. There always is everything else. There's even just asking somebody, right? But especially for men, it can be difficult, you know, to ask for help. But no, yeah, like I said, everybody says that until they're in the situation, and everybody no, like even now, like I think the same way, like, oh, I'd never let it get to that point. That's the way I think now, but I know I already have. Like I know I've already been there. So I can't say I wouldn't let it get to that point. It's happened. So if it's never happened to you, it's easy to say that. But if 10 horrible things happen to you in a row, like really horrible things happen to you just one after another, back to fucking back, and then you get put in a position that everything is stripped from you, everything's taken from you, you don't have anything, you don't have any means, any ways, anything. Things go downhill really, really quick because you start needing the strings you can pull. Those strings you can pull right now start running out really fucking quick because you pull them all. You pull every string you can think of, and they run out really quick. Of course, that's why I advocate for men to be better, to be tough, to be strong, to work hard, to be part of their community. And I want that so much. Like I said earlier, like I am a huge advocate for men. Like I want to start like a podcast, like literally talking to men because I know how many men are out here with, I don't want to say mental health issues, but with issues, right? It doesn't have to be mental health, but just issues, period. And whether they need to listen to something or something to relate to, I don't know. But I think there's a lot of men out here right now that are struggling really bad. And you know how you know it's true? You know how you know it's true? Because look at what's going on in society, all right? If society's doing bad, it's because the men have gotten weak and have allowed it to get bad. If society's doing great, then it's because there's strong men around, right? So hopefully, and like I said, it's not even hopefully. I want to see men do as good as possible. I never want to see men get to that point, but it is good to know that you're capable if you did get to certain points, and it's good to be a Swiss Army knife, right? To be able to do anything at any point and to be able to make money 100 different ways, right? That's one thing I've always been really good at. Is just making money in all different kinds of ways. And that's a really good trait to have. Just like being able to just do different things with your hands and fix things and, you know, do whatever. But basically just do whatever it takes to make things work, you know. Luckily in this area, I am in if you know where. Wait, luckily in this area, I am in if you know where you can get at least one square meal a day from charitable organizations. But sometimes people are not in a place to have that sound of mind. Right, right. And like the place I was just talking about, it was once a week. You couldn't get it once a day. It was once a week. Um, it gives you the ability to control. Um, what is better, Spyderco Crew Carta or Benjamin Bailout M4? Well, I'm about to get the bailout, but I'd probably say the Spyderco for sure. But I like the bailout too. I'm about to get one. That's what I like about Jay. He knows the full spectrum that human beings suffer. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've definitely suffered. And when I think about some of the things I've been through, like it blows my mind, like some of the things I've been through, like because it doesn't even feel real. It almost feels like even though it's a memory, like sometimes it almost feels like a movie or something. Um, as I've been through some crazy shit, man. Uh, our our society is failing because we gifted China our manufacturing. That's part of it too. But if so we're supposed to be the ones that are um, building and creating and everything, right? So that's on the men, right? That's on the men. If people are going to China because America's not making it, whether the government helped that make that happen, whatever, it's still on the men, right? Who you gonna blame it on the girls? Did the girls do it? Was it the women that did it? No, it was the men. It was the fucking men. So, and that's why, men need to be strong because that's the only way our society is going to fucking thrive is if we have strong men leading good homes. Just look at countries that had economic collapses. Shit gets real fast. Yeah. Fuck yeah, it does. Absolutely it does. And like I said, like in 2008 when that shit happened here, I was doing construction really well. Construction was booming. I was doing really good. And then it seemed like overnight, like just everything stopped. Like there was no construction. Like you couldn't get construction work to save your life. And when you did, it was like once every couple of weeks. And it wasn't even like nothing substantial. So it got real hard to make money in construction because nobody was making money. It was bad. So, you know, I think when you realize like that's like doesn't like whatever you're doing, there is a possibility if that fails, right? And do you have I'm not saying to have a plan B because I do think it's good to put all your eggs in one basket, but it's good to be a Swiss Army knife and know that you're capable of creating a plan B incredibly fast. I'm not saying have a plan B. I'm saying to have the ability to create a plan B if something happens. I can't say enough how impressed I am. Was going to buy aftermarket scales, but the green aluminum ones it came with are just so nice. Yeah, no, the green aluminum ones are fine. You don't need to get aftermarket scales for that knife. That knife comes really good. I had the carbon fiber one, and I got titanium scales for it. I still, they didn't even fit as good as the carbon fiber ones. Did you ever feel grateful that you went through some of those hard and rough times? Like when you see someone else going through it and you can empathize instead of just sympathize? Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's obvious. Like when I see people, I can relate. I know where they're at. Like when I go through certain neighborhoods, I know who they're going to see. I know what they're doing. I know everything about them, right? Even though I've never met them. So, yeah, for sure. But is it still makes me think about time I've lost, right? Like as much as things can make you grow and make you strong. I think about the time I lost and I can't get it back. So I have to work overtime to get that back. And I also, I can't fix the bad I've done. So like I've done a lot of bad shit. I've hurt a lot of people and it's not a good thing and I have to face that. So yeah, it sucks, but yeah, I mean I'm happy I went through certain shit but there's some shit. No, I'm not happy I went through because, you know, I don't think it does good for anybody to go through certain shit, but I do think it's good to go through hard times. So don't get me wrong. Fucking hard times are good for most men because how can you get strong? It's like that saying goes, you know, like I asked God for strength and he gave me hard shit to do, right? How the hell are you going to get strong if you don't have hard shit? It's not possible. You don't get strong from easy living, right? You get strong from going through tough shit and hard times. So I do think it's good for all men to go through some hard times and some tough times and have to build things up. And, you know, I think that's very important, and to struggle and to, you know, fucking put your knuckles to the dirt and really, you know, grind. But, you know, there's still a level of which, you know, what's healthy or what is beneficial for you, right? And I guess with me, maybe I'm just so hard-headed it had to get that bad. That's probably true. Because like I you know, when you tolerate so much stuff, you know, you get to a point to where your tolerance for bullshit goes up. Your tolerance for fuckery goes up. So mine was probably just at a higher level than most people's, and what I was willing to tolerate, even though in the past before that I wasn't willing to tolerate that shit. Uh, Watch that podcast I did. Please watch that podcast. It's a really good podcast. I got my class a CDL so that plan B if I would ever lose my current job. Yeah, as long as trucks are still moving, which they should almost always be. But yeah, I mean, if the economy gets so bad, then there's going to be less shipments. There's going to be less jobs for that. But, you know, hopefully that is something that always continues because we do need trucks for everything. Like, we don't function without vehicles moving. About 2008, I built an off-grid cabin and became very self-sufficient. Had a couple of kids and things changed. Good for you, Fred. That sounds badass. That sounds dope. Yeah, that sounds awesome, man. Good for you, man. And congrats, because that's the way to do it, man. Get off grid, have some kids, fucking survive off. You know, that's badass, man. Good for you. My hat's off to you for that one. Just got the Knife Center exclusive Civivi Conspirator on S35 and aluminum scales. If I had to describe it, I'd say it's like a budget version of the ProTech Mordax. Hell yeah, good for you. Yeah, they make some good shit, man. And as far as Knife Center goes, you know, I try not to shout them out too much, even though I do have this Boker from them. In K390. I think the K390 is soft though. But anyways, yeah, they won't fuck with me, so I don't talk about them too much. I know it's stupid. I got laid off in 08 as a new home plumber, right? Yep. I mean, I was doing everything in construction. And yeah, everything, and we went from like tons of work to just like none done. And then when it started coming back, when work started coming back, it was like so slow, you know, like because like things were like slowly picking up and you're trying to get as many jobs as possible. But then eventually it picked back up and everything went back to good. But it was shitty for a little while. Gotcha. Just a joke. Just a joke. Freight is fairly recession proof. Well, I'm not saying that freight's not recession proof. I'm saying a large amount of freight. So obviously, we're always going to need stuff. But if there's already like, let's just say, you know, there's so many trucks on the road and there's so many drivers. Well, if you're coming in, no experience, and they start laying off drivers, and now instead of having 10 trucks on the road, they have 3 trucks on the road. Same thing with other companies, you know, and you know, who knows like what they're going to wind up doing with certain things, you know, like and figuring out other ways to move things. I don't know. I'm just talking shit. But no, dude, I think CDLs are great, man. My dad had a CDL. I've been in trucks my entire life. I don't have a CDL, but I drove trucks my entire life. Like not semis, but my dad drove a semi. So, you know, and I've slept in semis for weeks. Like, I know what it's like to be on the road, and I think it's awesome. And I think truckers are such a powerful thing. And I think a lot of things can happen if you have truckers, you know, part of your team, or even just, because like, man, talk about a strike, right? You could really fuck some shit up. Truckers, if truckers go on a strike, we're all screwed. We're going to do whatever they say. Truckers can shut things down real quick. Tesla autopilot thing has been taking out motorcycles too. Signs for the economy, China war kicks off. We're all going to have to get tough. If that happens, yeah, hopefully things can turn around, but it's hard to say. Guys, I think we've been going long enough. I will see you guys Saturday. And then, like I said, Sunday, no Bang Gang Live, but we're doing it on Monday at a regular live schedule. I might do a test podcast here coming up soon because, I've seen the feature, but I haven't tried it. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, I do appreciate you guys coming here and joining me. I appreciate the donations. I appreciate all the conversations, you guys hanging out, and you guys using my links and watching the channel and showing so much love and support. I can't tell you how much it means to me to have you guys supporting us. And I truly, truly mean that. So thank you guys for all that. And like I said, I do appreciate when you guys use our links because it massively helps us. And yeah, guys, I love you guys. Until next time, peace.